And we are live. Who all is here early? I just put this live stream, I just put it up. Danny Boyd was here quick. I do have a friendly reminder here now that we are inside of 100 days to go. If you still need to register for the 5th annual AHRA No Name Nationals, you may do so right there. Turbo Tom from Ohio, Mexican Spec from Mexico. Presumably, he's not on the road. We've got Left Turn Dodge. Lumpy is here. Madam Secretary Colleen. Auto Salvage Outlaws. Kerosene Cucumbers. Pure Pontiac Garage. Big Mike of the Hoopty Barn. Hot Rod Guy Garage Russell. He says, greetings. Hello, sir. Mostly Mopar. Just had somebody ask me, I believe it was Jason from Indirect Connection, we had to be in the Valdosta area. How far are you from Valdosta? Mostly Mopar, sir. The Manic Mechanic. Howdy. GX Empty Nesters. You know, I saw the thing for their show and I had a bunch going on and I turned it on right as it was going on. I think I got the last comment of the night, but I just checking in. So I'll catch y'all again soon. And I have an idea for a game that I'm not going to do on this channel. And when I tell you what it is, you'll know why. I'd like to, but I won't. It'd be perfect on yours. I'd love to do it, but Junkyard D. Matthew Ward 627. Hello, sir. AKA 6th Street Garage. Yeah, ASO resurfaces. How about that? Indeed. Yeah, ASOs pop up. Yeah, you'll like my idea. I won't say it here because I say it here, they'll start playing it in the chat automatically, and that might not be safe. It's safe enough, but it doesn't belong here. I'm happy to share the idea with you. It would totally fit in on your channel. ASO is getting back to normal. Look out. Happy made up holiday. The memes have been going around, believe me. Indirect Connection says, howdy y'all. Broke foot and all. Yeah, Auto Salvage Y'all, I believe he said he broke his foot. You know, walking cast or something, I think. I think I heard something about that. Yeah, Turbo Tom's talking about a holiday. You know, ironically, the 18th of June is the 33rd anniversary of the day I bought my first car. So for those in the chat who want to say what their first car was, mine was a 1970 Dodge Dart Swinger, 318 automatic, Y01 yellow. Manic Mechanic, working on cutting all the old brackets off a full float 9-inch rear end so I can put leaf spring purchase for the S10. Cool, I like that. Excellent. This is the S10 that is now right side up, correct? Yeah, he's in a boot till Monday, surgery, 8 weeks on the cast. Boy, that's cutting it close. You got to get out of that cast so you can make it to Sykeston, man. Valdosta is 120 miles south. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm kind of curious. I don't think I've ever asked this question here before. Danny Boy's first car, 77 Vista Cruiser. GXEN. So on the GXEN account, I'm assuming this is Mrs. GXEN, correct? '76 Mustang for ASO. Colleen, 71 Charger, but not the one she has now. You don't have anyone now, technically. Mexican Spec says 63 Plymouth Fury Commando 361 four-door sedan. Cool. Oh, it's flying now. Ah, That's Tim's. I'm putting mine together. Oh, okay. I like this idea. Yes, sounds good. Okay. I'll try to make this year with a car. Dude, just come have a good time. That's what we want. Come have a good time. That's really what it's all about. There's no pressure, but you know, we're all car people, so bringing cars is fun, right? 6th Street Garage is my first car. It was a 75 Pontiac Grand. I'm assuming Grand Prix. Well, when was the last time that car was on your property? Rented or owned, doesn't matter. It was on a property for which you had durable tenancy, shall we say. Old McDonald's first car is a 71 Scamp. Excellent. Jason says 80 Mustang, 85 3002 4-speed, rust-free, bad wreck before I got it. My friend Ben's first car was an 80 Mustang. I wish he still had it. It sure was cool. Got it cheap. Car was black, had tan interior, and they changed it to red. Had a 206 in it. I like that thing. Wish he still had it. Mexican Spec never looked at the small cars, the darts. Always thought the bigger the better. A dart is big by today's car standards. A good time is what it is. Well, I sure hope so. Or Grand Am. Well, I don't know. I don't know how far back the Grand Am goes. Turbo Tom, 72 Ford Pinto wagon, $50. Yep, back in the day. Left turn Dodge. My first car was a 77 two-door Mercury Monarch. Hand me down. My dad was ready to junk. My dad was just wanted rid of our 1989 Hyundai Excel that I took my driver's test on, and I bought it from him. I paid him $50 for it because that's probably about all I'd gotten in scrap. And the engine was so worn out in it that I had it idling in the front yard one time, and it made so much blue smoke at idle that I had a car stop on the road in front of the house, pull in the driveway and say, "Hey man, is your car on fire?" And I remember, and this is just like a TV commercial, I poured in a can of that silver, that Restore. Remember it used to come in the 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, and 8-cylinder sizes, 3 different height of cans. And it was like a reddish color. You could see little strings of stuff in it. And you shake it up and pour it in. I poured a can of that in there, and I kid you not, the smoke all but disappeared, and I drove that engine for years like that. I don't remember how many miles I got out of it, but I drove it for a few years like that, and it put a lot of power back in it, and it's about stopped the smoke. I would never have thought, and I never put any more in, changed the oil regularly. And then after a few years, it got to where there was just no ring seal anymore, no power. One time I was in Bluefield, I was in a neighborhood. We have real steep streets there. I pulled down in one, and I couldn't pull back out. I had to turn the car around and put it in reverse because in reverse I had a little more gear ratio, and that's how I got back out of where I pulled in. I said, well, that's the end of the road for this engine. And I took two. I took one that had thrown a connecting rod and one that had some bent valves. And that's supposed to be a non-interference engine. I know you could turn one over. But this one had a timing belt brake, had some problems. I took the two apart. I made one good one. I mean, had all the machine work done. Really nice engine. Mike Walters did all the machine work, and Withville, that shop's long gone now, but they did a good job. Had the crank turned, block board. Wasn't that much back then. We're talking a couple $100 for that. Everything would be way more than that now. But the engine was great. Put it all together in the car, drove it for over 200,000 more miles. Had 184 on it when I did that, and it got over 400,000 somewhere. And ran great. But anyway, yeah, Dad was shocked to no end that not only did I salvage it, I did all of that. Because when I got it, you could see smoke, literally would hide the house. It ran so bad. And then it had a bad CV joint. And to him, that was just terminal. Oh, boy. Mean Street Mopar says, what's up, everyone? Howdy. Mostly Mopar says, my first car is a 65 Impala with 283 power and 283 and a power glide. Cool. I like it. Sounds like my friend Dietz Chevelle. 283 with power glide. And it sounds like our favorite 57 Chevy up in New Jersey. Manic Mechanics was an 80 GMC Sierra he bought out of the junkyard for $250. I like that. I like it when somebody buys something out of the yard. Auto Salvage is the first car I learned to drive was my dad's 66 Fairlane. Hot Rod Guy Garage is a 70 Torino was mine. You said my 70 Torino. Do you still have it? Mexican Specs has put a Dart next to a new Honda Civic. The Dart is smaller. I'm not believing that. What year Civic and what year Dart? I mean, I don't know how big a new Honda Civic is, but those Civics in the 90s were considerably smaller than any of the A bodies I've ever had. Grand Dam started in 69 or 70. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a Pontiac guy. Although I did a short of a wild little Pontiac today. I think it'll come out on Tuesday. You guys will have to see that. Colleen says 2 houses ago. Does it count that I have all the parts except the body? No, it does not. We'd love to see you get that back. You know what you'd say it's been this body shop jail. I'm sure it's not been painted. Why don't you just say forget it? It hadn't been painted. It's not going to be painted. Let's rattle can that thing and put it together. How about that? I mean, seriously, just rattle can it and put it together. I mean, we'll come to your place and have a work party. How about that? Dr. Gose's first car was a 72 Town and Country 9-passenger wagon with a 440 for $300 from Dad. Mean Street Mopar, my first car was a 73 Duster 198 slant 6. I don't know what years they made that 198. I guess in 98 they were still making it in 73. It's kind of a weird transitional engine that had a super long connecting rod. 3-speed manual in the floor. It didn't run, but it was my first car. I always wondered what would happen if somebody took those pistons from a 198 and they put them in a 225, because the stroke on it was shorter. The connecting rod was super long. I've never known what the height difference is. I'd love to figure out what that is. I did see where somebody built a 318 stroker back in the days before you had all these 4-inch cranks. They took a 318 truck crank that was steel and had it offset ground and welded up and offset ground so they could get enough stroke. And they used the connecting rods from a 198 slant 6. Those things are 7-inch rods. I still remember that. And I don't know how well the engine ever did. I don't think it did very well, but it was an attempt to build a 318 stroker just under 400 inches, because before the 4-inch cranks, like 30 some years ago, Mopar Performance had one that at that time was a fortune. It was like $700 and some. In today's dollars, it'd be like $2,000, but it was a forged 3.79-inch stroke crank. And so these guys made one from a 318 crank. I thought it was neat. I just don't think it did so well. Hey, my Aunt Nancy's here. Hello, all. Happy Friday. I just saw my Aunt Nancy for lunch and ice cream today. Mexican Specs said, took my first driver's test in 76 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Broom. I just said which first car was. Andy Wood says 70 Duster 340. I have a picture of Andy's 70 Duster 340. Yeah, I don't know what the driver's test. I think I've asked that before, but Danny Boyd's driver's test was 76 Maverick 4-door. Yeah, Tijuana Taxi. Cool. Chumley says my first car was a 73 Duster 198 slant 6 3-speed manual in the floor. He didn't remember it was my first car. I kind of like that. I always liked the manual Dusters. Yep, that was Russell's, and I didn't know if it was the same one, but there you go. When he got it and what it looks like now. So is that red one. Very cool. Very cool. Big Mike's first car was a 68 Plymouth Fury 3. Paid $125 of hay money for it when he was 16. Got it? Yeah. Dandy IT guy, 72 Dart 318 two-barrel peg leg burnout master. I resemble that remark. Dr. Ghost says Andy's 340 Duster was a sweet car. Yes. The 70 shown as 318 had a 70 Duster shown in his thumbnail was a 318 car. This is interesting. Mexican Specs tell the Main Street Mopar found an 81 Diplomat 4-door with a slant 6 and original floor shifted manual in black. That's interesting. It's just something we didn't see here. Andy's was automatic, did the 4-speed swap. Yep. Old Max says all the Mopars I've owned, something completely different. 71 Scamp, 73 Duster, 69 Coronet, 71 Coronet Wagon. That's unusual. And 88, 68, the 68 Express 4x4. I don't know what that is. 68 Dart and a modern Ram. Cool. I don't plan to ever buy another vehicle. The year begins with a 2. Danny Boyd did a motor swap today on a Whirlpool commercial washer. Did the capacitor too. Yeah, better you than me. A Granville is basically a Bonneville 4-door hard top, worn out 400 2-barrel. Yeah, I always thought it was funny when you had an engine that was 400 cubic inches of a 2-barrel. Although I talked to a guy today. So you guys know Bruce, who sometimes gets in here on the chat. His neighbor has a 47 Ford. He's got one of these, all kind of stuff going on. I actually plan to go see him here pretty soon, and I'll do some video on it. But he was describing all this stuff. It has a 454-inch Chevy. I'm assuming a big block. It's got a TH350 transmission and a 600 Holley carburetor. Yeah, and anyway, it was built when he got it, but he said he's got some problems. I'm gonna go check out the tune on it and see if we can give that thing some more go. I think we can. Yeah, he didn't have enough room to type out Mopars. He said, yeah. Mexican Spec says with factory floor shifters, it has to release on the column to release the key. Yeah, Dad says that on the Jeep. Racer Ray is here. Howdy. Razor says 96 days, 3 hours and 40 minutes to be exact. My Aunt Nancy says, my first car was a 56 Ford Crown Victoria. It handled like a Mac. I love it. Did you let Bob drive it? And what happened to it? Yeah, Mack truck. Yeah, there you go. Auto Salvage says, my 83 Mustang will never be sold. I guess not in your lifetime. Thumper still has his first car, 67 Cougar. The Alabama guys are hardcore. They are. Aunt Nancy says, my best vehicle is my Dodge van, and she has a key to it. She can drive it. She drove it on her birthday here a few years ago. You need to drive it again. It runs better now. You should drive it again. You should drive it now. It runs great. Mostly Mopar says, I'm driving and filming my short for the day. Met 3 little kids on a 4-wheeler. The 8-year-old on the back was flipping me off with both hands. Yeah, that's trashy, degenerate behavior, and they, you know full well they learn it at home. Mean Street Mopar says, my 73 Plymouth Duster will eventually get the 318 that I'm building now. Of course, my truck is getting it first, then a 440 once I get it finished. Right on. Sounds cool. So this is the one you want to do the 440 and the 4-speed swap on. You know, you might be interested in this Mean Street Mopar. I've been thinking for a while, I want to do it. I want to build a 904 Torque Flight just to build for someone to sell. I'm thinking of building a nice hot street 904 with a lot of good stuff in it just to sell it. I just like to do that, build a real nice one. And might be something for one of yours. I don't know. We missed you too, Mr. ASO. He didn't recognize them, but they fit the area I was driving in. Okay. Yeah. ASO/OSB. That works. Build a 518. I actually have a nice 518 core. It's actually a 46 RE, but it has it does have the worm gear on the output shaft for a cable-driven speedometer, so it's perfect. That means all I need to do is swap out the valve body, and I want to build that for my van. That is coming, and for the back, I've got an 8 3/4 van housing. And something I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Left turn Dodge, if you have that Imperial rear, I would love to talk with you about it, because there's a good chance that those Imperial axle shafts will go right in this housing and give me the 5.5 on 5 bolt pattern that the truck has. And the housing, I think, is almost exactly the same width between a van and an Imperial. But the van has the purchase top side. I'd like to ask you about it, because that may be very interesting. If not, I'm going to have someone make up some axles for me. But because I definitely want to run the original wheels on the van, but I'll put this 8 3/4 in it. And I'm going to do a 391 center section, and that with the overdrive in the 518, which would be wonderful. It'd be a killer combination. Would the 46 RE fit an A body without cutting the trans tunnel? You have to cut the torsion bar cross member, and there's several guys who have done it. Rabbit Transit J has a 518 in his Dart. He's exactly the one I would ask. And no, I was going to say, yeah, he's the one I would ask, because he has a 518 in his Dart. But yeah, you have to trim the torsion bar cross member. And I've seen different ways of doing it, and some of them I like, and some of them I don't. Ah, man, I'll tell you, I've never seen one in person. Don't have any idea where one would ever be seen or found. But if you found that thing and could get me some measurements, that could be really, really interesting, because that could be the missing link to get truck wheels on an 8 3/4. Because this is the only place I know of where that bolt pattern and an 8 3/4 intersect. Cop Car Steve with his Cop Car Steve badge there. Look at that. Cop Car Steve, are you a cop? I know the guy Jay got that call from. I'm sure it's well done. Well, Jay would have the intel pictures to show you how much stuff does or doesn't fit. No, I am not. Well, okay. I saw the badge thing, thought it was interesting. We need a cop car at No Name Nationals. I'm down with that. Fine with me. It's a new logo. Cool. To cover all bases, were you a cop? I'm not worried if you ever was or is or anything. It's all good with me. I've got 3 cops on this street. They're all good neighbors. I got one there's one house that my next door neighbor's house separates me and the cop who's a detective down here. And he's got a couple of German Shepherds. And they play out in the backyard. And Jethro will look through my fence down there at them, looking back through the same neighbor's fence. And he wants to go play with them, but I don't know how well they'd all play together because Jethro and big dogs don't get along. He gets along with little dogs, but he's a nice guy, good neighbor. They all are. They're all fine. I got 2 county mounties on the street and 1 town cop, and used to live next door to a state cop, and then had another state cop on this. I don't know how many cops have lived on this street since I've been here. A bunch. Got 3 right now at the moment. Old McDonald says if he put a Coke transmission in it, he would be Coke Car Steve. Oh my. If you put a Coke transmission, does that come with memes? Big Mike says my daughter's a cop. Cool. I think I have the axle still. Dude, if you can find those axle shafts, that's the part I need to know about, those axle shafts. I would love to get some measurements on those. Because that would be a neat swap I've never seen done before. Because if you get those, if those fit the van housing right, that would be an awesome way to get truck pattern on an 8 3/4. Because those 2 things missed each other by 7 years. Bigfoot Mark, my Belvedere is completely painted and we pick it up tomorrow. Ooh, that's exciting. You're going to pick it up on 96 days to go until the No Name Nationals. Does this mean we're going to have a good chance of seeing that in Sykeston? Main Street Mopar, I ordered the cam lifters and valve springs this afternoon from Edelbrock. The No Name Nationals discount saved me a good chunk of change. Yeah, guys, take advantage of that. Edelbrock is worth it, man. We have our own concierge, Mr. Alex So. And one great thing I'm hearing a lot of people say is not only is he, listen, this is not like going to the counter at the parts store and playing roulette with somebody with 6 months experience. He's like an experienced, real deal car guy, knows what he's doing, experienced professional, and he helps us. And I've heard a lot of people tell me that when something says out of stock, website, you can actually check, and sometimes they still have it and can get it and whatnot. So there's a benefit to calling him or email him, but it is a benefit for those who are registered for nationals. It's 10 to 15% off everything on Edelbrock's website, which already has prices comparable with the big box speed stores. So over 20,000 part numbers. Make use of that, guys, and then they throw that perk to us. Big shout out to Professor P for getting the ball rolling on that, but they're good to us, and I appreciate it. Mostly Mopar says, I keep having to shrink y'all down to check out pics that my son and girlfriend are sending me from Waco, Texas. They're checking out Baylor for grad school. This was his first time flying. Hey, I love to fly. I hate all the stuff I got to do to get on the plane, but I like flying. Left turn dodge, tank's been around all different size dogs. He's fine with all, just doesn't like people. Jethro likes people just fine, and he likes little dogs. But let me tell you, he holds his ground when it comes to big dogs. Like, he would never let a big dog walk past him to come greet me. Oh my gosh, that would be the worst thing ever. Little dogs he's fine with. He gets along good with little dogs. I don't know. It's just his thing. One time I was I was at a listing of mine, and this woman that had it had a 300-pound sheep named she had one named Henry and one named Little Bit. I can't remember which one it is. I think this was I don't remember which one it was. It was one of the two of them. And it's a friendly sheep, but it liked to kind of butt into you like a ram does. Sheep just do that. And that sheep walked up and bumped into me just because it's what it does. And Jethro jumped up on that sheep's back, growling at it. He didn't hurt it, but he showed that sheep what time it was and told it to go. So I got to watch him. He's totally fine if I got him on a leash and I walk up to someone and shake hands with him, but it probably would not be the case. Like if I'm sitting somewhere, got him on a leash, don't come up to behind me and pat me on the back. That probably wouldn't go over well at all. Motion will make you axles for any bolt pattern, any housing. Right. I agree with that, but I'm really curious. I know that this is not something anybody can just go to a junkyard and do, but I would be real curious if you still know what those axle shafts are to see. I would be curious to know if that's a thing. Be kind of neat to know if there's anything else from an Imperial people do besides jerk the 447-27 and wreck the body in the demo derby. Be neat to know if there's anything of the rear end of people actually could use. Mostly Mopar. My Jack Russell likes people as long as it's me. Man, I found this beach condo I thought was perfect. It was oceanfront with a little balcony. The price was really good. It looked fine. Smoke-free resort. The only kind I would ever want to go to. I hear that now that weed is legalized, it just destroys going to the beach. You can't ever go on the balcony or anything. It's always taken over with it. This is a smoke-free resort. I'm like, great. And it allowed pets. I'm like, what is the catch? And I looked and it said no aggressive breeds, no dogs over 30 pounds. I'm like, if they won't give me any flexibility on that, it's out. I know some people who are like 6'8", 6'9". I could get them to stand next to him for a picture. Because, I mean, he looks friendly enough. And if I had somebody who's really tall, it might make him look 30 pounds. But I would be honest with him and just ask him, is this flexible? Bigfoots and Mopars, we 440 swapped and revived my club cab in 60 days before the No Name Nationals, but this will be tight. I understand. Indecisive Garage, good evening. Drop by to say hi. Hay rides for a guest tonight. Y'all have a fun and safe time tonight. Cop Car Steve, I'm in talks with the wife to drive the 2,300 miles one way to the No Name Nationals in 2027. That sounds really cool. I like that. What are her conditions? Do you have to stop and visit family on the way? See the country like a tourist. Hey, enjoy it. We'd love to have you. Dean Stevenson, a sheep called Shrek with 60 pounds of wool. Looked like me before a haircut. This is as much hair as I've ever worn. I don't do the crazy amount of hair thing. I couldn't stand it. I don't know how anybody can stand a whole bunch of hair or a big old beard. I am so out on both of those. ASO says it's worth every mile. Yeah, I got to tell you, I would never fault anybody. 2,300 miles is a long drive, and it's going to take some days to do it. But I'll tell you, if you want to plan a September vacation of touring a big old chunk of the country, it's a good one to do. I did a 3,000-mile road trip one time, and yours would be 4,600. I'd do it again. It was fun. Left Turn Dodge hadn't even started working on the car for No Name Nationals. Doesn't need a lot of the. I expect you'll get it all together. Yeah, I don't know what the farthest we've had anybody commute to the No Name Nationals is. It's pretty close to that. I know we've had someone about 2,100 before. Pretty close. Vintage Adventure Drive says my 2,200-mile trip from Oklahoma to Washington took 4 days and was an absolute blast. Yeah, there you go. Oh, Dean says 9 months between a good and a bad haircut. If you can still, yuck. I will so pass. And I don't have as much hair as I used to, but I mean, I could still slick back one of those, Steven Seagal looking. I wouldn't do it though. Ugh. Now I could grow a big old gnarly beard, but I couldn't stand it. Oh, it'd be itching so bad. Lifter and dodge. I hate not having the back of my neck covered in hair, but the big beard, I guess I can't. Yeah, I'm out on either. Vintage Adventure Drive says Jamie drove almost 3,000 miles to No Name Nationals, but the direct route would have been 2,500. Yeah, there you go. Mexican Spec says you actually went to Washington to Oklahoma. I'm that guy. Yeah. Main Street Mopar wants to get the engine built and broken in. The truck will come together pretty quickly. Boy, I'll tell you what, it's 96 days, 3 hours, and 33 minutes. Big Mike said, I've made the drive from Arkansas to Oregon and back 6 times. I've never done the drive. I flew out there one time, flew into LAX and Reno. Cop Car Steve says 36 hours with Google Maps. You can make it 3 long days. You can make it 4 more relaxed days. Racer Race is hoping to have the MES 10 engine parts back next week. Just got the tools for the rear axle upgrade yesterday. I've got featured cars coming out on my channel, the shorts, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. We've got a 75 Corvette, a 47 Ford, an 86 Monte Carlo, and a 2001 Pontiac Sunfire. How about that for a motley crew of shorts? Oh, no. Oh, I had an ad blocker just start to come up and do some stuff. I'm like, no, don't crash me now. Gen X Empty Nesters running it in. We're an hour and a half from Sykeston. Mexican Spec says, tell your wife she can take long hot showers in the hotels. That works with my wife. You're talking to a guy that slept in the back of a U-Haul trailer for 5 days there in Sykeston. I don't have any sweet tooth for comfort. I don't care. Slant Daily Garage. What's up, suckers? Howdy, Professor P. Thank you for joining us, sir. We just mentioned you in here. Mean Street Mopar said that he just placed an order for cam and lifters and such from Edelbrock and saved a lot of money. And I said, big shout out to Professor Pete for getting the ball rolling and making that happen. And it's a great benefit for people registered for the No Name Nationals. We even have our own concierge, Mr. Alex So. Thank you for coming by, Professor P. We appreciate you. Professor P, I'm wondering something that I think might be a thing. I'm thinking, and one of our people in this community says he might have some axle shafts out of an Imperial. And I've looked at the measurements on paper, and it looks like Imperial axles will fit in a van housing, 8 3/4 housing. And if they do, it will give me 81 and up truck pattern on a 74 down 8 3/4. That'd be so cool to find those. But if I can't, I'll just you know, have some made. But I'll tell you, that'd be a neat hack. It'd just be something neat to know. Yeah, Dallas told me about that. Thumper says Dallas came up here for a few days. We hung out and worked on vehicles that broke while we were driving them. Yeah. Big Mike said, I need to find a 4-speed to put with his new to him flathead Mercury V8. Neat. It's definitely a Ford guy question, but I know it can be done. My dad did it back in the 50s. Yeah, my dad did it in the 50s. Mean Street wants to know if Dean can make it to No Name Nationals this year. Whatever year he can make it, we'd love to have him. Turbo Thomas said the owner sold his 69 Roadrunner for $80,000. That's awesome. Whomever bought it, congratulations. Slant Daily says, don't forget to hit the like button. Nobody forgets to hit it. They just don't want to. They're like, all right, we've paid enough tax looking at Wilburn for 2 hours. Racer Ray, you haven't found axles yet? What year? So I have a very, you don't see these. It's a B van, the bigger B van housing. I have that. But what I'm wondering is, because the measurements on paper look really, really close, if 65 to 74 Imperial axle shafts, I would love to know if they just happen to be a set out there. Because here's the thing. I bet people took the Imperial housings and put them in other stuff or cut them down or whatever. Or you could put probably in the reverse van or truck axles or something in there and get the 4.5 pattern or narrow them or whatever. But I bet a lot of people didn't want to run the Imperial axle shaft because it has that 5.5 on 5 pattern. But that's what I need. Vintage Adventure Drives wants to swap his Scamped manual. What's in it now? Is it a 904? No Dean this year, but hopefully we'll see him some year, as long as we have the No Name Nationals anyway. I hope so. Don't take it for granted. I mean, we need people to turn out. That's how we continue to have it. We grow I know it's a big commitment of travel for people, but we grow a pretty good class of No Name 500 guys every year. We should be able to grow this event. We have 11 No Name 500 participants this year. 2 of them female, which I don't know how many female No Name 500 channels we've ever had. Fifth year. Yes, it is. The 5th annual is in September. In 96 days, 3 hours, 16 minutes to be exact. There's a 64 Imperial. Okay, well, no, if it's assembled in the car, it won't really help. What I'd love to have the numbers on, if it was out of the car, maybe. Okay, if it's out of the car, it's maybe, especially if it has the brakes off of it. But I'd love to have the measurements off the shafts, the axle shafts. That's great. Need 20 more. Well, the first year of the No Name 500, we had 65 channels. And of the 65, I believe 45 of them made it. Of the 45 who made it, a lot of them did show up. A lot of them fell apart. The first year we had, people didn't know what this was about. And we had all kinds of people who really, frankly, had no business doing this because they didn't understand the value of the community and what it was about. And they had all these other ideas. And so a lot of people, and that's fair, that's fine. But then we also had some bad apples who just wanted to be obstructionists and were jealous and, you know, threw a bunch of monkey wrenches in it, whatever. So, but anyway, we got past all that. About the first 2 years is how long it took to get all that out and to purge all that garbage out of the system. But after that, it's been very smooth sailing. And we've had lots of great No Name 500 classes. Not as big because once they make it, they re-register as established channels. But we still have had a very good class every year. Every year I wonder, are we going to have as good a No Name 500 class as the year before? I said, because we had a great one every year. And this year, we got another good one. I mean, Left Turn Dodge, mostly Mopar, Valiant Adventure, 1973, Jay's Junkers, all of these guys running up front. We got a lot of folks too who are a little behind, but I think that a lot of them, everybody can make it right now. Everybody's in the running, but we'll see. I mean, we got a great class again. Lots of fun stuff out there. If you haven't checked out all the No Name 500 channels, even if you are sub to them, go to my main page on YouTube, my main channel page. You can also get to it through johnwilburn.com and take a look at them. Slant Daily Garage, I was one of the channels that was in the first No Name 500. I believe the first year or the second year. You were in the first year. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. You were in year number 1. So he was one of the first No Name 500 classes. He's one of our first alumni, as was Big Mike. That's right. Big Mike is an interesting story in himself because I remember the first No Name Nationals, the first No Name 500 in the month of January. It was freezing cold and nasty outside. And then there may be more, but there were 3 channels specifically I remember. Barrow's Garage, Big Mike's Hoopty Barn, and Outfits Garage Russell were 3 guys going out in the snow, in the freezing cold, getting their projects in and starting on them in January. And I said, okay, I know these 3 guys are making it. And those 3 guys did. Because if that's how they roll, they're going to make it. They showed me what they were made of right up front. If they post to get there, yeah. Shelby and Mopar case, you get along both Mopar girls. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of, sometimes, you know, you never know how people get along or don't get along or whatever. But, you know, hopefully, I mean, it seems like people in general get along very well to No Name Nationals. Mean Street Mopar, I was hoping to see Travis's old red truck this year. I hope so too. How's it coming? Thumper didn't quite make it the first year. Transportation, understandable. Dean says, except if your company bans you from posting on your YouTube channel. That's awkward. I won't be taking them to court just yet. Does your company ban you from posting on your own YouTube channel? Is this just when you're on their time? Cop Car Steve's heading down the highway for family dinner. Have to go see Friday. 360 subs, so I'm on my way with the 30 for 30 shorts. Have you done one every day since the 5th of June and including the 5th of June? Cop Car Steve? We got lots of people still doing them. I've done one every day. I have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday all done and scheduled right now. I'm telling you, you can do a whole week's worth of shorts in an hour. You really can. But I don't get too far ahead. If I see something that needs to be a short, I go ahead and film and schedule it. And then I've got all kinds of stuff just, you know. Now, I could have done this. I thought about doing it when I was doing the 4-barrel swap on the van because I had so much content to make. I said, no, I'm going to put this out real time for anybody following it. So I even didn't bank all that and just did all these. And I haven't missed a day. Big Mike says, I still get the giddy feeling getting ready for No Name Nationals that I had from the first year. Well, good, man. It's fun. I enjoy it. I love getting to come see everybody. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work for me, but I enjoy it, and I do this for you guys. I love doing it. I love getting to see all of y'all. That's what makes it worth it for me. Huh. Affirmative. It's a Bruce Simpson style XJ overreach. Some New Zealanders sure suck. You're not allowed to post content on your own channel on your own time? What kind of, where are you incarcerated again? I can get there Friday and Monday. It'll be good to come because the kids will be coming. Oh, so you're getting dialysis on Friday and Monday in Sykeston? Is that what you're doing? Of course, your wife thinks you're nuts, but, well, yeah, it doesn't matter. She obviously likes your brand of crazy. Don't stop being crazy. Mohawk said, I went as a spectator the first year with 14 subscribers and returned as a participant the second year. Exactly. That's what Don English did. That's what a lot of people did. That's what Tony Ross did. Tony, so Tony's Hot Rod Garage, a lot of people have done that. They were spectators the first year, and they said, oh, this is too much fun. And then they worked on their channels in the off season and came as participants the second year. Because I understand it's a big ask the first year. We said, hey, we have this idea. And how many times do you hear that? And it doesn't turn into anything. So, hey, Lars, I can answer that one for him. But how many times people say we have this idea and it doesn't turn into anything? So we had an idea. It's a good idea. It's a real idea. We proved the idea. Then people came back. And I want to continue to do it. We do need to have more people, though. We really do. We need to have more people. And I understand it's a big commitment. It really is a big commitment. But I sure enjoy it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Humper says, I'm not sure if my ex-wife thinks I'm nuts, but I know they hate me or dislike me profoundly. Dude, you don't have to do anything to get hated. I can tell you that. Auto Salvage Outlaws spent $1,300 first trip there, worth every penny. I don't know what that means. Is that what the trip wound up costing you? Dean says ASO drove so fast his medical alarm went off. Maybe that was the place saying he broke free from custody. Colleen drove her minivan down the track last year. Still have my 96 on the window too. Yeah. So Colleen, M&M is 96. Anyone picked that song yet? Nope, nobody has. I've had several people in the comments and off the list try to guess it. Now, I tell them respectfully, I won't take guesses anywhere, but in the chat on Friday night. And I don't care if it's years from now. I'm going to see that song drift through the comments. I will see it, I'm sure. No hints, not taking guesses anywhere else. I think there's only one person who knows what it is. Left turn dodge. Found the left one. Oh, interesting. Can you send me a picture of that? It's 29 from the inside of the bearing flange into the spline. Interesting. Racer Ray, no, it is not. I'm assuming that's a lyric from Whom the Bell Tolls, Metallica, right? I don't know what No Country song we'll have to even guess. I wish I didn't. Right one's still MIA. Dude, that's awesome that you found. Can you send me a picture of that? ASO says, my wife, a nurse, she has the box. So when it goes off, she's there. Okay. American Boy, is that a song? I don't know. Dean says, Sean Wilburn doesn't like James Last. I don't even know who that is. I will go snap one. Right one's still MIA. Yeah, I don't know. Man, I'll tell you what, that axle shaft, you know it's out of an Imperial. That is cool. Yeah, if you can grab that picture, that would be awesome. That could answer a weird old question. It would have been a neat swap to do back in the day. Bruce, by the way, I meant to greet Bruce earlier. James Last, polka band leader. Ah, okay. I ain't no problem with him. I don't know who he is. Bruce, I talked to your neighbor today. I think he's getting some bad info from whomever's trying to help him tune that car. But we need to put something together. I'll come down and we'll check it out. Bruce thinks he's dead now. Sure thing. Glad to. Seems like a nice guy. ASO says, got a good wife now. Her a Jeep. He got her a Jeep and told me to buy her she told him to buy a new race car. Okay. Tell yourself that. It takes like money, right? Dean says he's been not alive since 2016. Yeah, YouTube's got a big thing about saying died or killed or dead or any of that. It's bizarre. Bruce says, I figured out the Rocky movies are Hallmark movies for men. Yeah, you know what? Rocky's fine. I'll watch it somewhere else because that's kind of like when some store at the mall says, oh, we have a men's section. I'm like, no, you don't. You have a men's section. You don't have a real men's section. Nurses make good money. They do. I don't know their deal, nor do I need to. I'm just saying. Takes money. Yeah, nurses do make good money. I had an aunt who was a nurse. She's been gone a long time now. And they work hard for it and deal with a lot of stuff I'd never want to. We have a few people in the medical field here in the chat and in this community in different areas of it. ASO says she loves the T-Bird. I haven't seen that T-Bird back up here. I had a neighbor up the street up here who used to have one of those big square T-Birds like yours. I haven't seen it in a long time. I guess he sold it. Either that or it's retreated into the garage. But it was silver and has some mags on it. It's a good looking car, actually. It's like a later model version of Jeff's. Obviously not as powerful or fast. Mexican Spec said, my niece just finished college for nursing. She's just starting out. Yeah. Bruce says, any more shrinks here other than me? No. I know one, but I've never seen him come through the chat before. Not mine. I used to work with him. ASO said, I give nurses the most respect because wasn't for my wife, be dead. You be dead? Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, a good friend of mine, his wife was a nurse. They were married. Gosh, I can't remember how long. 30 years till he died. ASO says we build for Hannah to race when she gets old enough. Okay, that's good. Mexican Spec said his son is studying to be a doctor. He said, I told him to be the nicest of nurses or his life will be very difficult. I wouldn't know why they wouldn't want to be, but, you know, who knows? I mean, it generally doesn't cost anything to be nice. Wow. So there we go, an axle shaft from an Imperial. I've never seen one of these in my life. I'm looking at this picture right now, real time. Sure enough, he's got the unicorn, a 5.5-inch bolt pattern, Imperial axle shaft. Ooh, man. Factory took a big old chunk out of the flange for a socket there, looks like. Huh. That's so interesting. This community is so awesome. I'm asking about something that's just the most needle in a haystack thing on earth, and one of our guys has it. That's incredible. Now, I got some couple people I need to consult with on this one and see how that actually works. I'm just curious if the swap can be done that way. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that. Thank you, Left Turn Dodge. Bruce says he's out of here, going to be going to Missouri for the circus band next week. Come on down and help my friend out. Yeah, I'll holler at him. We'll work something out. Sounds to me like he just needs a little help getting it tuned. He needs a lot bigger carburetor on that thing. For those who don't know, Bruce's neighbor has a 47 Ford Street Rod, a 454 Chevy engine. I think it's actually like a crate motor or something that's got about that many horsepower with a 600 Holly on it. I told him I would have at least an 850 on there. He says, well, I'm told that, 650 might be too big. I said, I just put an 800 CFM carburetor on my 318 Mopar. It runs awesome everywhere and gets 2.5 more miles per gallon, and now it gets better than that. Tuning is everything. Mexican Spec says doctors have the God complex. They look down on nurses. So I want to make sure my son's not one of those. Yeah, that sounds ridiculous. Bohawk said my mom was a nurse for 40 years. Sucked for my sister and me. There were no I don't feel good days. I'm not going to school. She said, if you don't have a high fever, you're going. I missed 6 days of school in the first grade for chicken pox and never missed another day of school or college for the rest of my life. Just got to figure out what haystack the other one's in. That is interesting. I need to do some measurement math on that because that is really, really interesting. Dean Stevenson, Axel Shaft, what rock band or movie was he in? Richard Roundtree and Guns N' Roses, maybe? I don't know. Bruce says cheers. Well, thanks for coming by, Bruce. We appreciate you, man. Bigfoot's and Mopar says there's been a culture shift. The anesthesiologists I work with are awesome. Yeah, I'm sure it's different everywhere. I've met lots of people who were very nice, doctors, nurses, everything else. Of course, I'm also not in that, so. Lars puts up the link for No Name 500 contender All the Beans Racing right there. They're 299 subs. They are leading. Waiting for them to put up some more content, but they're in the lead. Mexican Spec wants to know if your early Mopars had tapered axles like the U.S. cars had. Talking about the Australian cars. Lars also puts up the link for Jay's Junkers. Yep, he's moving up. He's only at like 138 subs right now. So he's a distant second, but he's running second. Most of the Mopar says my wife is a nurse and now teaches nursing at a nearby university. That's cool. Lars puts up the link for Dave Stovall Farms and Garage. Check him out. He is putting up shorts daily in the shorts challenge. And Nodak Speed Shop, who to my knowledge does not plan to come to the No Name Nationals, but he is registered in the No Name 500. And he's been making shorts, and he's building a 46 Dodge Rat Rod on his channel. Does the rear drum come off, or you pull her after you take the nut off the rear drum? Yeah, he's talking to Barracuda. I don't know what that is. Lars, are you going to get that Ford ready? Auto Salvage Outlaws wants to know. Lars has a Ford truck in the works. for the LP94 channel. Lars puts up the link to the Mid-South Lowballer. I believe he's about 114 subs. Love to see some more content from that guy. Junkyard D wants to know, does Lars have a Shorts Challenge update? Lars, do you have a Shorts Challenge update? If you do, we'd love to have one. I haven't tallied how many subs I've gotten off of it, but I can tell you I've participated in it every day. Yeah, no kidding. I want to see more from Mid-South Lowballer as well on the Challenger. Yeah, sure. Lars put up the link, Tim72 Demon. I'd love to see a video about his demon. Bigfoot Mark says, gained 100 subs since daily shorts, but need to go back to the 50s car show tomorrow to get more footage. No pun intended there, right? Yeah, sounds good. Car shows this is the season for car shows, and there's a ton of content at car shows. Man, I got a load of subs off of some cars. I did a short of a 57 Chevy at a car show last year. That thing got 60-some thousand views on it and lots of subs. 57 Chevys, people search them. ASO said every day of the trip was fun hanging out. Was a blast. Even drank a beer with JB and Don. Levi's Backyard Performance is here. Hello, Mr. Levi. Glad you could make it. Lars puts up the link to Mommy's Garage. She's running the last 38 subs, but you know what? She also just registered last week. Been registered for a week now. So hopefully she'll step on it, catch up. Maybe she'll lap the field like, well, we have two ladies in the field. Valiant Adventure 1973, she got in and just lapped everybody. And maybe Mommy's Garage could do it too. That'd be wild. Left Turn Dodge says, after the Shorts Challenge, I'm going to be done with anything non-left turn Mopar rated. Yeah, that's cool. Got to get back to what the channel's about. You can do shorts on left turn Mopar stuff, you know. They'll do well. Barry Cuda says, I learned that from the VK Valiant onwards, they had 10-inch drums instead of 9, and hence more desirable. Yeah, I've run the 10-inch drums on a driver just fine. I will tell you, shorts don't get the kind of subs they used to. Now that all the monetization and 3-minute shorts have just driven everything into that, the pool is so diluted. But the shorts are a good way to get people making daily content and engage, and that's why we do it. Lars said, "Might get us update here in a minute." Cool, man. If you can, that's great. No worries if you can't. Lars got a life. Bigfoot said the Jack Pine Savage shorts and videos get my most use. Well, I can see why. Mark, you don't still have one of those Jack Pine Savage shirts, do you? That is the coolest looking shirt. Coolest looking car. I love having that thing prowling around the pits. I wish the new owner would bring it just to circle the pits. Lifter Dodge says, no time for working on the car. I'm getting ready for a big car show doing sound. Cool. Hey, that's great content too, man. ASO says to don't leave back the Chevy. He's bringing the Chevy. Let me try something here. Let's see if this works. All right. Is that better? I probably need a better driver for that camera and mic. Better. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Ashley Hendricks dash D4N posts M comma dot slash space dot comma dot. That get typed in your pocket? Welcome, Ashley Hendricks. I don't know who that is. Yeah, well, it went black because I unplugged my camera and mic combo. I use a Brio, which works really well when it works. Car show tomorrow that has a standing burnout contest. Should I enter Kerry or Jack? Go for it. Sounds good. Did you get Kerry all sorted out? Sounds like 52 cards in my Schwinn bicycle wheel spokes. What, you don't put the jokers in there too? Bigfoot says, I'm planning to visit Tom and the GPS. Hooked him up with the t-shirt company I used and got his brothers and old race crew the shirts. They actually had the Jack Pine Savage race checks from back in the day. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, yeah. Main Street Mopar and Racer Raiders saying Kerry. Yeah, don't forget. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You might have two more if you're just doing that. Sounds like a good idea. Dizzy says, good evening, good people. Well, I guess some of us are good, right? Unfinished project. Got him out of his cave. Thumper's got an arrow to bad people. Yep. Doesn't matter if it's stopped on your avatar or pointing to me. Doesn't matter. All depends who you ask, right? Bigfoot Mark, I might make another run of the shirts. Got a new shirt planned for the Belvedere. Well, if you do, I'm game. Jack Pine Savage shirts are cool, just like they were. Barry Cuda says, I've wondered how long rear axle bearings last. The originals are still good and quiet in my 71 value. They can last a very, very long time. I've seen them last a very long time, like it's in 50 years. What size? I'm not sure. I'll get back with you on that. Because I got to tell you, as much as I like my Cope shirts, they're like a tent on me. This is a 2X. I could wear this thing twice. Dizzy says the Corvette and Volkswagen Parts House and Museum in Effingham, Illinois was taken out by a tornado. Ooh, yikes. That's terrible. ASO wore out a No Name National shirt till I couldn't read them. I understand that. The first shirts we had were good. They were good. They were good quality. I think what we're getting now is a little better. I have no complaints about the first shirts at all. But I think, after a few years, we'll see a little better service life after we made some upgrades in materials. I saw VW Beetles sitting real close over here by the interstate. Yeah, those shirts were great. I have no complaints about them. I just think we've managed to upgrade them a little since the first run. Yours was from the very first run. Those bearings done 157,000 miles. The front bearings in the CRV have done 378,000 miles. The rear bearings in the van have done, who knows? It was at 195 when I got it with a broken odometer. That van's got way over 200,000 on it now. Got the original axle bearings. Original transmission. I don't think it's ever been out of it. It has had a service done on it because the pan gasket was all wonky and leaking, and it was a rubber gasket with a bunch of... They had what looked like some kind of hardening yellow, it almost looked like wood glue that they put on the rubber pan gasket, and it was leaking everywhere. I took all that garbage off. I got a billet O-ring filter spacer, the longer hardware, some really nice plated pan hardware from Cope with a fiber gasket and filter and everything, and did a deep pan deal on the van and good stuff. If you watch that short I did, I got links where you can get the package, and he gives a package price on doing the deep pan filter extension gasket and hardware and everything. It's very nice. It's a nice, worthy upgrade for any of your rear-wheel drive Mopars. Indiana Garage says hello. Howdy, sir. Good year for Dodge vans. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I like all of them that they made. 71 to 03, I think those were all good years. Yeah, I'll tell you, you can really wear those things out. I've got some like that are worn out, but I got a connection for getting new ones, so. Hey, you guys that have these that are just like you have worn them out to nothing, take me a picture of the ones that you have worn out to nothing. Take a picture of them with the size and send it to me. So for Mohawk, you do that. ASO, you do that. Anybody who has a No Name National shirt that they have worn out, especially worn out working in it, send it to me with the size. Dean Stevenson said, my Tony's Hot Rod Garage is my go-to for work. Yeah. Jay's Junkers is here, running second in the No Name 500. Jay, we're looking for more good stuff from you. Huh, Bigfoot's and Mopars says Adam is bringing his Duster to No Name. He hasn't registered just yet, but we love to see him. Adam, I'm assuming this is the same Adam he's talking about. Indiana Garage Adam says, Bigfoot is footing the bill for the 340. Oh, wow. Wow. Huh. That's not a cheap tab. Colleen tries to, I understand that. I've got one that I've changed all kind of oil and done greasy jobs in, and I got one I keep real nice. I got a couple of them actually. Here's what kind of dictates it. It's not really necessarily gets dirty, but eventually I get a hole in mine about 4 o'clock where it keeps rubbing and snagging on the rear sight of my pistol, and it gets a little worn spot right there. ASO said mine's 5 years old. Yeah, or yeah, close to it. I will say, Colleen does manage to keep her red AHRA shirt in nice condition. I was just at Dallas's and forgot to get a new AHRA shirt. I really like those red shirts with the shield. Yeah, Jethro, he hasn't come in here yet. This is usually about the time when he's about 9:30 is when he comes in here. He's been in there napping in the living room. We walked a mile this morning, and then he had some ice cream this afternoon, so he's probably just ready to crash out and take a nap. I haven't heard a thing out of him. Jay's Junker said, in second, soon to be in first. Got a couple videos in the making, so keep an eye on. All right, we will. I told Junkyard D, Junkyard J's made of the right stuff. I'm sure he's going to make it. Looking for some people in the field to make some moves. It's a right field for making them. ASO wears his nearly every day. Either that or I guess a Busted Radio Garage shirt, BRG. I'd like for Chris to make it this year if he can. Dean Stevenson says ASO. I had a 7.9-inch shorter wheelbase Thunderbird. I think they call it a Fox Mustang. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Levi says, I'm going to have a pretty cool door prize for everyone at No Name Nationals in 2026, but you need to get yours while they last, as once they're gone, there'll never be another one made. Okay. Barry Cuda, do any American Valiants and Mopars in general have Borg Warner rear ends? I don't know necessarily. I don't know who made the 7 1/4 or 8 1/4 for them, if anyone. I think they were both Chrysler. They never had anything Dana. The 8 3/4 was made by Chrysler, so I don't think so. I don't think they did. Racer Ray wants to know if Levi's bringing a third vehicle to No Name Nationals. Well, hopefully he's bringing a ramp truck, hauling one and towing one. I think that's the plan, isn't it? He also wants to take his daughter down the track. How old is your daughter? That's a consideration. We do have some considerations for who we'll let go down the track and the safety equipment for speed and all that stuff. Levi says that's the goal. Goals are good. We'll be 3 in December. Oh, my goodness. Gosh, she's just out of a car seat, right? Or still should be in a car seat, maybe. A friend of mine, his son was in a car seat so long and was so tall. I said, dude, pretty soon you're going to have to just move the car seat up behind the wheel. The reason I say that is because I think back when I was a little kid, man, we were out of car seats when we were walking. We just got in a car. People didn't, you know. Is there going to be a race for vans? Brian Brinker, Dust Devil Garage, tried to put together a van race this year. He said, we just didn't have enough interest. But if you want to do something with vans, let me know. Get with Brinker. There's a guy right there who I know is interested in vans. And you guys, if there's a few people want to do something with vans, you know, yeah, we can do something like that. That's fine. Car seat, what's that? Yeah, I mean, I never wore a seatbelt until I had to take driver's ed. Well, see, when I took driver's ed, the seatbelt, I don't remember when the state law for seatbelts was in Virginia, but it was really close to when I started driving. And people just, a lot of people, most people did not wear seatbelts back then. It just was not a thing. I mean, and I don't. I remember riding, my grandfather had a 65 Cadillac, and I don't have a single picture of it. It was white with blue interior. And I just remember the wheel covers looked like they just weighed an enormous amount apiece. But I remember riding between my grandparents in the back seat of that car with my mom in the front ride and dad driving, and they would fold the armrest down between the two seats in the back, and I sat on that between them riding. I don't think I ever was in a car seat or seatbelt when I was little. Yeah, it just wasn't a thing. Be cool to see van racing. I totally agree. I want to race my van down the track if anyone's willing to go down with me. Talk to Brian Brinker. He's got his Dodge van he'd like to bring. Talk to him. Dust Devil Garage Brian. Yeah, it just wasn't a thing then. It just wasn't. I mean, you know, I was born in the 70s, man. Indoor smoking, no seat belts, just a different time. Okay, Lars sends us a little update here. No Name 500 contenders gained, subs gained. Alda Beans got 7. Valiant Adventure got 395. Mid-South Lowballer got 2. Dave Stovall got 11. Jay's Junkers got 58. Nodak Speed Shop got 19. Tim 72 Demon got 2. Plymouth on Plywood got 7. And Mommy's Garage, not sure. She just registered last week. And she got a bunch when she registered. Yeah, Colleen is right. You'll certainly have someone to race, but if you want to race another van, Brinker would be the one I would ask. Huh. Barry Cuda says another Borg-Warner component used in the Australian six-cylinder Valiants of 1970 is the Borg-Warner 35 instead of the Torque Flight. I'm assuming that's a manual transmission, I'm assuming. Yeah, you can race anybody. You see who brings a van and call them out. I don't know. We've had the Indiana Garage, the former Hoosier Garage. He brought his van. He has a little cool little shorty van, painted up with his channel logo and everything. And he brought it one year. I'd like to see it back. It'd be great. Says he might bring his Duster. At least that's what Bigfoot Mark says. Big Mike says maybe next year the Hoopty Barn will bring a van. You never know what Mike will bring. Borg-Warner 35 is an auto. Yeah, I need to look that up. I don't have any idea what that is. No clue. Via AMC? Yeah, I don't know what that. Now I kind of want to look. I'm going to look. Borg-Warner 35. Ooh. It's a 3-speed automatic. Looks like it's got a separate bell housing. Looks almost like a Chevrolet Pan. Real short tail shaft. Nothing I've ever worked on. Levi says, I'm still in search of 225, 75, 16 tires and need at least 6 of them. Good luck. I have no idea where to tell you to find that. Duckster must be in here somewhere. There's Dougster. Hello, glad you're here, Mr. Dougster. Big Mike said there's a racer car on today's Hoopty Barn video. Sounds like worth checking out. ASO says, my daughter likes Chevy's the trash truck. Assume that red S10. Dean says the 40 and 42 on the use on the AMC, air cooled at 35 based. Okay, sounds wild. Unfinished project ask how Peckerwood Customs Aaron's health is doing. And there's Peckerwood Customs. Howdy. Glad you could make it. What time is it right there, Mr. Aaron? What time is it in your corner of the world? Levi says new are about 95 bucks a tire. I know that's cheap, but the budget's pushed towards the race truck and car. Understand. I just don't know where you'd find them. I'm a scavenger too. Peckerwood Customs says right now it's 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. Wow. So it is 13 hours, 14 hours, 14 hours later there. You're 14 hours in the future. Interesting. We've had Canada, Mexico, New Zealand, Australia, and the United States. We've had a 5-country live stream tonight. Interesting. Good stuff. Unfinished project says time isn't real. Well, we've only got so much of it. Dougster says, I'm officially done with used tires. I buy new. Where I buy once, cry once. Whew. Oh my gosh. Dougster and I, we need to collaborate on a video sometime. I've got 6 used tires sitting right by the garage right now for the CRV. I'm a used tire warrior. ASO, anyone heard from the Don? Well, we haven't seen him tonight. He usually swings through here. Oh, you know what? I believe they're visiting family in West Virginia this week, I think. Barry Cuda said the Borg Warner 35 is also used in small English cars like the Hillman Hunter. Smooth operating, but not considered to be very strong. Well, the 904 isn't considered to be very strong, but it's a wonderful transmission. And it's plenty strong if built right. Unfinished project said, I will never be done with used tires. Fun fact, once you put the tire on the wheel and drive it, guess what? It's now a used tire. Doesn't bother me a bit. I just don't like it when you got these people who do not know how to take them on and off. They're real rough with them and tear a string on the bead and have bad repairs in them. But if they've been treated right, and I look at one and none of that's, they're fine. Twisted Mopar Dennis, hello, sir. Dizzy says, in December 2019, he put heads on the Vagrant. Pistons were in perfect shape. 2 pistons are lightly dented. Something went through it. Only problems I had was second No Name Nationals when it backfired 2 times hard and burned the distributor up. Two pistons lightly dented. Were they dropped? Because that can cave in a ringland a little bit. Barry Cuda says, I'm a New Zealander and I don't have anything to do with Facebook. I'm not on Facebook either, man. Never been to New Zealand. But we've had New Zealand, Australia, Canada, Mexico, and the United States here tonight. So we've had our 5 primary countries make it in the chat. Huh. Dean says the Hillman Hunter gearbox was made in Scotland. Wow. Never owned a Scottish part in my life. That's interesting. I remember the old Scottish inns, which were even cheaper than Motel 6. Whew, man, they were cheap. Well, kind of stuff going on about the Borg Warner 35 transmission. Never had any experience with one. Dizzy says, looks like a small nutter bolt went through it. Very well could have. Unfinished projects is I plan on going to dark sky at some point within the next 70 years. Yeah, let me know how that goes. Hope you're patient on getting a reply. Still usable ringlands up. Okay. Left Turn Dodge says next Friday I won't be in the chat. I'll be running sound for Mid-Century Meltdown and the Dirty Martinis Band. Okay. Barry Cuda said they cast the majority of the Australian Hemi 6 engines to only take the Borg Warner 35. Well, that's interesting. I wonder why they do that. What other transmissions could you get the Hemi 6 with? Dexter says the Scottish were legendary for their frugality. The old saying is they have deep pockets and short arms. I can understand that. That's why they have deep pockets. Dean says, one way to meet the 85% local content laws. What is that? Dean says for the 904. Well, it's weird why they would make it so you couldn't have anything else. If I was going to have one, I'd want one for a 904, obviously. Because if I could have a 904, I could also have a 727 or an 833. I'd want the Chrysler bell pattern. It was an adapter gearbox. Y'all know entirely too much about that transmission. Mexican Specs asking if it's getting cold over there in Australia. I don't know. This is their winter. Hard to beat a 727 Dodge. They're great transmissions. Barry Cuda says they've introduced beavers into the Scottish wilderness a few years ago. Boy, beavers can do some damage on trees, I'll tell you. But I don't have anything against them. My friend Billy wants to know where my Diet Dr. Pepper is. empty. He never posts in the chat. He has a YouTube channel. He has a YouTube handle anyway. For some reason they've gotten on the Borg Warner 35 and 3 and 4 speed manual. Yeah, the most popular Borg Warner transmission here by far was the T10 4-speed. Deckerwood saying beautiful weather right now, cool nights but awesome days. Yeah. Twisted Dennis says 57 this morning, high of 83. I'm good with all of it. I got to get out early with Jethro to walk. He does not like the heat. Or in the evening, but this evening doesn't work because I've got the light on Fridays. Some of the Hemi 6s, not many, were cast to use a 904 and 727. Well, that definitely is the one I'd want to use. We'll go up to that 904 and 727. Did any of them have, none of them had a Chevrolet bell housing block, did they? Aussie Chrysler used to keep us guessing. Number said it only got to 60 up there today. Woo, got in the 80s here today. Big Mike says it's definitely not cold here. I don't know how to act now that I actually have my shop insulated and AC installed. It was quite comfortable working out there today. Big change from 5 years ago. I don't have a clue. Well, yeah, Cope is saying that the Chevy Bell 904. That's why I was asking. ASO says 90 here for a little while. According to Dean, fitting a 727 or 904 requires a specialized Hemi 6 torque flight bell housing or a Dominator engines or Hemi performance adapter plate, because most of them are made for Borg Warner transmission. But some of them had that bell housing pattern. See, I don't know how uncommon that is over there. And people call it a Hemi 6. It wasn't a Hemi 6 even. It was just a crossflow 6, a lot like a Jeep Cherokee, right? Unfinished Project says, what kind of ice cream? Well, I'll tell you what I had today. Twisted Mopar Garage, he's asking him. I had some caramel cookie dough and chocolate. And Jethro had some vanilla. Yes, Dean, we know that. And I think it had some kind of AMC style of torque converter. It had to have, because it needed to have the torque converter without a ring gear that bolts up to a flex plate that had the ring gear for the Chevrolet. Twisted Dennis likes his Neapolitan ice cream. Unfinished Project asks Cope, how's cottage life treating you? It's a good question. Cope says no dreadlocks tonight. Cope, I never knew you wore dreadlocks. Not for me. I've certainly never had enough hair to do that. Cope says he's not there this weekend, but he loves it. He took a dreadlock holiday. Man, well, there was a short I put up on my channel. I was at a property I sold having a septic inspection done. And the guys from Montgomery Sanitation came out and did it. They do a great job. Two guys came out. One of them literally took a ladder and climbed down in the septic tank to wash it out. And he's whistling the theme song to the Andy Griffith Show. Fishing Hole, something was the name of that. He was whistling the theme song as he hosed out the septic tank. And I looked over at the other guy who was there with him, and he had dreadlocks, these long dreadlocks. And I said, "You don't get down in that tank." He said, "Oh, no." He said, "I could never. These dreadlocks, I can't risk getting in that tank with that." I can understand that. Twisted Dennis, I love peanut butter pecan ice cream. Yeah, not my jam, but you go for it. Ooh, coffee ice cream. I'll take the peanut butter pecan. Oh, maple nut is obviously the best. My gosh, what octogenarian nursing home did you guys go to get your ice cream? Oh my gosh. Hey, Cope, do you want me to ask this crowd here about your t-shirt thing? Cope, if you're listening, do you want me to ask them about your t-shirt thing that you had that question? All right. Cope is testing the waters with this. Check it. I don't even need to show you the picture. Check out the design. This one's legit, 30 years old that I'm wearing right now? Check out the design. The OG CRT shirt. He's considering bringing it back. Let me know in the chat if it's something that you would be interested in buying. An actual CRT. This is an original one from the day, but he's thinking about doing another run of them. You can't find these anymore. And he says in the product description, he says, should we bring back the CRT shirt with the cornet? Text, I want my CRT. Drop it in the chat. I want my CRT if you want to see it. Twisted Mopar, normally stop and get a twist cone DQ, but I can buy a gallon from the same price twist cone. Yeah, that's crazy. Twist cones used to be so cheap. Not anymore. All right. We're getting a lot of good comments. That's cool. And yes, awesome t-shirt, OG. But Dougster says, I want my CRT. You guys know that. Didn't Mark Knopfler play that? I want my CRT. Aaron says, I'll buy one if you send it international. Well, Cope now, we got him hooked up with a better price for shipping now. So hopefully. Junkyard D, I'll buy one if we get to see it run at the track at No Name Nationals. No kidding. No kidding. Yep, I want my CRT. Got a lot of people interested. You pieces, I don't have mine on tonight, but I'd love to get one a touch smaller. Yeah, I'm kind of in that boat too. I told him I'd love to have a smaller one. This is a 2X. I mean, I like it. It's just it's a lot of shirt. I want my CRT. Yeah, cathode ray tube. Knock yourself out, Thumper. 904 Aruba. Yeah, Cope got a 904 from Aruba. How about that? In a box. I've been afraid of opening that box. I remember the Natalie Holloway thing. But I'm assuming he opened it and it was a 904 in there. Dean Stevens said it would be wrong for me to steal another shirt. It was wrong for you to steal the first one. So there you go, Cope. There's a lot of people in here who will be interested in seeing the CRT shirt come out. Dizzy, if you're listening, are you interested? Would you want one of these if he gets another run of them? I'm not necessarily showing you the best example. This one is it's got a good amount of wear, but I like it. I wear it, quite regularly. I mean, it's you see it here. There's the shirt with Jethro and I this morning. Headed up on our neighborhood walk. ASO says make 50 of them. Dexter says no Jamaican flag. Dean Stevenson says, yeah, baby, why don't we go to Kokomo? If I went to Kokomo, I want to go to Kokomo, Indiana. Cope says, taking the girls out for ice cream and a drive around the lake. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming by, Cope. We appreciate you, man. Y'all have a good time. Left Turn Dodge. If I'll buy one if Cope will build me a Circle Track 904. Talk to Cope about it. I'm actually looking to build a 904, but I don't know that I'd build a Circle Track one necessarily, but I'm looking to build a good hot street 904. Mohawk said, I would proudly wear that CRT shirt. Yeah, there we go. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know what will go into being a Circle Track 904. I mean, other than just you want everything light in there. And would you want your gear ratios close or wide? And do you shift? I mean, it might determine what you want to do with the high gear drum to keep it light versus durable. And there's just certain things I can think of, but I'd kind of want to know what's important, how you want to do the valve body. And I'm assuming you want to do it manual. Left Turn Dodge says, I just got to do it. My dad was a Mopar trans tech. I know we can do it. Well, there you go. ASO wants to see Mohawk put his car on a shirt. Racer Race says, speaking of ice cream, I haven't seen a chain restaurant that makes a proper malted. Okay. Huh. Barracuda says, a popular New Zealand flavor of ice cream is Hokey Pokey. Boy, that's interesting. That sounds like something they'd sell around here. It's Virginia Tech. We are the Hokies. But it's Hokie. And between the third and fourth quarter, the Marching Virginians band at Virginia Tech plays the Hokey Pokey in the stadium. And it's a bizarre time to play it because the people who were drunk can't do the Hokey Pokey. I've seen some of them, put the left leg in, the left leg out, and fall down. If you buy the Hokey Pokey, you have to turn yourself around? Yes. Unfinished Project says Dairy Queen here still makes a malt. Left Turn Dodge's Culver's has a great malted. I saw a Culver's, I believe, down in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I don't think I've ever eaten at one. Dexter says, I was once addicted to the Hokey Pokey, but then I turned myself around. Aunt Nancy says, good night, all. Thank you for joining us. Glad you were here. Jethro and I went up, had ice cream with her this afternoon. They have a nice little ice cream parlor just down the road from their house. Needs better seating outside. I don't know how they do it where they are. Dougster says, Ray, you have a standing invitation here at the Wolverine Homestead. Mohawk says the Steak and Shake has the Liberty Milkshake for $2.50 all year long. Oh, that sounds cool. Happy 250th birthday, America. I have friends who were born on the bicentennial in 76, including Dallas. I missed that. I was born the following year. Danny Boyd fell asleep for half an hour. I was wondering why it seemed a little tamer in the comments. Not a bad price. When everything's a bad price, I get it. Barracuda says that Gay Time was a brand of ice cream cones way back. Well, I'm sure it was way back with that name. Mexican Specs said the wife and I just took an Uber from the supermarket back home. The rate was $19 pesos. He's got a dollar sign, but 19 pesos, which is a little over $1. I gave him a little more. 19 is so low. I get it. Left Turn Dodge was 2.5 in July 76. I don't remember. I get it. UP says you should petition those to bring them back. Sure. Number was 7 in 76. Slant Daily Garage says, have a great weekend and don't forget to keep up with your 30 shorts in 30 days. It works. Indeed, it does. And also, don't forget to catch Tech Talk Live on Wednesday on the Slant Daily Garage channel. Also, if you are not yet registered for the 5th Annual No Name Nationals, what are you waiting for? It's in 96 days and 2 hours. So check it out. Make sure to take advantage of that nice incentive that Edelbrock has given us, which I think is very cool of them to do. 10 to 15% off everything on Edelbrock's website. And we have our own concierge, Mr. Alex So, which is a great person to have on board to help us. And he's helped several of our folks out. They've saved a lot of money. Good tech support over there for helping you get the right parts. So it's a good experience too. And with that, thank you guys for coming out. And I will see all of you again next Friday. And hopefully we'll be having some 500 parties here soon for some people crossing the finish line. But y'all take care. Looks like Tech Talk Live may be on hiatus for 1 week, but hopefully we'll get that he'll get that posted. But anyway, in general, on Wednesdays, Tech Talk Live. We'll be back here Friday, 166 hours from right now. But for now, the weekend starts. Y'all have a great evening. I will see you all again next week.